The silence of the ocean is shattered by the frantic sound of a creature struggling. A low, desperate whimper rises above the crashing waves. Something is caught, trapped in the net. The struggle is raw, frantic, and utterly hopeless. The dim light of dawn barely filters through thick, roiling clouds, casting shadows that stretch across the jagged rocks. Waves crash violently against the shore, their rhythmic power barely masking the muffled cries of the animal. Emily, a young woman in her early 30s, stands on the edge of the shore, heart pounding as she surveys the scene. The turtle is tangled, panicked, and every movement seems to make the situation worse. The clock is ticking. Every second counts. Without hesitation, Emily springs into action, but a sudden obstacle arises. The creature's thrashing only deepens its entanglement. The weather, once calm, begins to turn. Dark clouds swirl overhead, hinting at the storm to come. The urgency intensifies. The turtle's struggle, the rising tide, and the impending storm all push Emily to move faster, think faster. The situation is spiraling out of control. It's a race against time, and against nature itself. With the storm now fully upon them, the wind howls as Emily struggles to keep her footing. Her wetsuit clings to her body, soaked with water, and the air is thick with the smell of salt and urgency. Every wave crashing against the rocks sends spray in all directions, but Emily ignores the cold, focusing solely on the turtle. The net is tangled deeper than she thought, each pull making it worse, and the turtle's frantic movements only add to the chaos. Her thoughts race. If I don't get this net off now, it's over. The storm is moving in faster, and if the turtle isn't freed soon, it will be trapped beneath the waves. Her hands tremble from both the cold and the desperation, but she doesn't stop. She tugs harder, sweat mixing with sea water on her brow. Time is slipping through her fingers like sand. The turtle is exhausted, but so is Emily. She can feel her strength waning, but there is no turning back now. This is the moment. Emily's body is shaking from the strain as she yanks the net one last time. She hears a crack. It's the sound of the net breaking, but it's not enough. The turtle's movements become more frantic, its large flippers pulling against the net with even greater force. Emily's heart races. The waves are crashing higher now, almost as if the ocean itself is trying to swallow them both. She knows they're running out of time. The wind picks up, howling through the rocks, and Emily struggles to keep her balance. Her hands are raw from the struggle, but she continues, refusing to give up. The rain comes down harder, blurring her vision. A wave of regret hits her. Had she acted faster? If only I had arrived sooner. But there's no time for guilt. Only action. Emily takes a deep breath, focusing again on the net, her hands steady despite the chaos. If she can just free one more knot, they'll be okay. The storm is nothing compared to the fight they have now. The net loosens slightly, but the turtle is too weak to fight much longer. The storm rages on, pushing Emily further into survival mode. Her arms ache, and her breath comes in short, shallow gasps. The cold of the rain, the harsh winds, and the endless pounding of the waves feel like a backdrop to a much deeper battle. Emily doesn't know how much longer she can keep going. In the distance, she hears the sound of a boat approaching. Someone else is coming. Emily's mind flashes to the worst-case scenario. What if they stop me from finishing this? What if I lose my chance? She pushes the thought aside and focuses on the turtle. Another tug, and then another. The net shifts, loosening enough that Emily sees a glimpse of the turtle's body beneath. It's close now. The boat gets closer, but Emily can't let them take over. She needs to finish this herself. With one last pull, she yanks the net free. With a final exhausted pull, the last knot gives way. The net is free. Emily gasps in relief, her heart pounding in her chest. She looks down at the turtle, now freed from its restraints, its body trembling from exhaustion. The storm still rages, but for a moment, there's a silence. Emily feels a sense of accomplishment, but it's short-lived. The boat arrives, and two figures stand on the deck, their voices muffled by the wind. They shout at Emily, but she can't make out the words. Her eyes are fixed on the turtle, as it struggles to swim, weakly, in the water. The waves are still crashing, but Emily doesn't move. This is what she came here for, to save the turtle. The storm, the boat, the strangers, they no longer matter. But the questions linger. How long will it survive in these conditions? And even if it makes it through the storm, what happens next? Emily watches the turtle struggle, knowing the fight isn't over yet. But for now, she's done what she can. The storm has passed, but its aftermath lingers in the air. Emily kneels at the water's edge, looking out at the sea turtle, now weak, but free. The creature swims in slow, cautious circles before disappearing beneath the waves. Emily exhales a shaky breath. It's done. But her heart is still racing, a mixture of relief and something deeper, something that's been gnawing at her since she first set foot on this shore. The rain has stopped, but she still feels cold, as if the storm has made its way into her bones. She stands up and turns away from the water, her feet sinking into the sand, the soft crunch of wet earth beneath her boots. Emily's gaze shifts to the horizon, her mind already running over everything that led her here. She had to save that turtle, but in doing so, she's also confronting something else, her own demons. The weight of the rescue, the guilt that clouds her mind, it's all too familiar. Was she truly prepared for this, or had she come here to redeem herself for a loss she couldn't forget? As Emily walks away from the shore, she's not alone. The sound of footsteps behind her makes her turn around, and she finds her ally Tom, standing there, his silhouette visible in the distance. He's younger than her, early 30s, with a strong athletic build and a face that carries the wear of long days in the field. He's been by her side on many rescues, but this one feels different. There's a tension in the air between them, unspoken but felt. Tom doesn't say anything right away. He simply looks at the ocean, and then at Emily, his gaze soft but filled with concern. She knows what he's thinking. Why did you take this on alone? But she doesn't want to hear it. Emily clears her throat, brushing a strand of wet hair behind her ear. I didn't have a choice, she says, though the words feel hollow. She didn't have a choice. But was that really true? Tom doesn't push, but she feels his gaze still on her, probing, waiting for her to open up. She can't. Not yet. They sit together on the beach, the silence stretched between them. Emily picks at the sand absently, her thoughts elsewhere. Tom is watching her, waiting. He finally speaks. It's not your fault, you know. His voice is soft, almost tentative. Emily looks up at him, meeting his eyes, but says nothing. It's not my fault, she thinks. But she's not sure she believes that. She'd been the one to save that turtle, but she hadn't been able to save the others. The weight of it all hits her again. I should have been faster, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom leans forward, his elbows resting on his knees. You did everything you could. More than most would. But Emily doesn't feel that way. She feels empty. The rescue, while a success, didn't take away the nagging feeling that she was always one step behind. She looks out at the water again, the place where the turtle had disappeared. Was that all she could do? Was it enough? The conversation lingers in the air, but Emily is quiet for a while, unsure of what to say. Tom respects her silence, but the weight of his words hangs over her. She had done everything she could, but was it enough? Could she do more? Her heart aches with the need to help, to save them all. But there are too many, and time is never on her side. Tom stands up, stretching his arms above his head, breaking the tension. He looks at her, and then at the boat on the horizon. We should head back, he suggests. It's a reasonable suggestion, but Emily hesitates. She wants to stay. She needs to stay. The idea of leaving feels like abandoning something. I'll stay for a little longer, she replies softly, still watching the water. Tom doesn't argue. He knows the weight of what she's feeling, the burden of rescue work. Sometimes the hardest part isn't saving them. It's letting go. As the light begins to fade, Emily finally turns to leave, but not before one last glance at the ocean. She doesn't know why, but there's a part of her that feels connected to this place, to the creatures she's saved, and to the ones she couldn't. Maybe it's the endless pull of the water or the echo of the turtle's final struggle that won't leave her mind. As she walks away, Tom falls into step beside her. The sound of their footsteps is soft, swallowed by the night. "You did good today," he says quietly. Emily doesn't answer right away, but his words settle into her chest, warming her in the cold evening air. She knows he's right. The rescue was a success. But it doesn't feel like enough. There's always more to do. And in the quiet of the fading light, Emily realizes that she'll never stop trying to save them, no matter the cost. The early morning light is a stark contrast to the chaos that's unfolding. Emily stands on a narrow cliff edge, scanning the horizon with binoculars. The storm may have passed, but the ocean still feels unpredictable, unforgiving. Tom stands beside her, his eyes narrowed against the wind, scanning the same stretch of coastline. "This isn't good," he says. Emily doesn't need to ask. She already knows. The weather has shifted again, darker clouds swirling in the distance, with ominous waves pushing in. They had hoped to rescue the turtle quickly and head back, but this new development changes everything. A flash of frustration crosses Emily's face. She had done everything right, had been prepared, but this storm wasn't part of the plan. It's not just the waves or the unpredictable weather anymore. Emily feels like the universe itself is conspiring against them, as if every step forward is met with 2 steps back. "We need to move quickly," Tom adds, breaking her from her thoughts. Emily nods, but her gut twists. The rising conflict isn't just environmental, it's personal. She's committed, but she's also terrified. Can they save this turtle before it's too late? They make their way down the cliff, the path slick and treacherous underfoot. Emily's mind races as she calculates every step. The storm was a warning, but now it's a reminder. Their goal was to get the turtle back to safety, but nature doesn't wait for humans to catch up. As they approach the beach, the roar of the waves grows louder, and the tide is rising faster than they had anticipated. "It's too dangerous," Tom says, his voice tense. He points to the darkening water. The waves are much larger than they should be for this time of day. Emily can feel the pressure mounting. "We don't have much time," she responds firmly. Tom looks at her, but there's a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. He's worried, and so is she, but there's no turning back now. They've come this far. The beach is now a battlefield between the rising ocean and a desperate rescuer. Emily takes a deep breath, pushing aside her fear, focusing only on the turtle. The clock is ticking. By the time they reach the shoreline, the turtle is nowhere to be seen. Emily's heart sinks. Tom scans the turbulent waves, but there's no sign of the creature. They know the turtle can't survive in these waters for long. Emily pushes forward, her gaze searching, her pulse quickening. "It must have gotten caught in the current," Tom mutters. His voice is strained. "We need to find it before the tide takes it further out." The urgency of the situation presses down on them both. Emily feels the weight of every second slipping away. "We'll find it," she replies, trying to keep her voice steady. But the fear is there, lurking beneath her words. The ocean has a way of hiding its secrets, pulling them into its depths. The thought makes her stomach turn. Emily and Tom scan the waves together, their breaths sharp in the cold air. The battle is no longer about saving a life, it's about preventing an inevitability. The ocean wins sometimes, and there's nothing they can do about it. Minutes stretch into what feels like hours, but the turtle is still missing. Emily is on her knees now, her face etched with worry. The waves continue to grow larger, the tide pushing further onto the shore. She feels a weight in her chest, the helplessness rising with the ocean's relentless surge. Tom's voice cuts through the quiet. "We need to go further out." His words hang in the air for a moment, a dangerous suggestion. Emily shakes her head. "It's too risky," she says, but she knows they can't wait much longer. "If it's out there, we have no choice." With every step she takes toward the water, she can feel the anxiety gnawing at her. They've crossed a line. Going further means risking everything, but she can't let the turtle slip away, not now. The tension between them grows as they prepare to enter the water, the waves crashing higher and higher. There's no more room for hesitation. They wade into the water, the cold rushing against their bodies. Emily's heart is racing. Each wave that crashes around her feels like another challenge, another obstacle between her and the turtle. The water is choppy, and the current is strong. But she doesn't hesitate. She pushes through the waves, her focus fixed on the horizon. Tom is beside her, his strong arms cutting through the water, but his expression is grim. Neither of them says anything. There's no time for words. Then, just as they begin to lose hope, Emily spots a shadow moving beneath the water. Her breath catches. It's the turtle. She can barely believe her eyes. Tom notices it too. "There," he shouts. The urgency in his voice breaks through the silence, and they move toward the turtle, adrenaline surging through them. The struggle isn't over, but they're one step closer. The ocean is eerily calm, but the air is thick with an unspoken tension. Emily and Tom have reached a quiet cove, far from the previous chaos. Emily is kneeling at the edge of the water, checking the turtle's injuries. The animal's recovery is fragile, its once vibrant shell now marred by deep scars. Tom stands behind her, arms crossed, his face a mask of concern. "We should take it back to the center," he suggests, his voice low. Emily doesn't answer right away. Her mind is elsewhere, lost in thought. As she gently runs her hand over the turtle's injured flippers, the reality of the situation starts to settle in. This turtle wasn't just caught in the wild. It wasn't a random casualty of nature. Emily's stomach tightens. "There's something off about this," she mutters, mostly to herself. Tom steps forward, noticing the hesitation in her voice. "What do you mean?" he asks, sensing the shift in her demeanor. Emily pulls her hand back slowly, as if reluctant to admit the truth. "This isn't just an accident," she says, voice barely above a whisper. "I think this turtle was kept in captivity." The words hang in the air, as heavy as the storm clouds from the day before. Tom's face hardens as he processes Emily's words. "You think someone captured it?" he asks. Emily nods slowly, standing up and taking a step back from the turtle. "Look at its injuries," she says. "It's too specific. These aren't just accidental wounds from nature. Someone has harmed this turtle intentionally and kept it for a while." Tom's jaw clenches. The thought of wildlife being held captive, especially for profit, strikes a nerve. "But who would do something like that?" he asks, his voice tinged with disbelief. Emily's gaze drifts to the horizon, her thoughts racing. "I don't know, but I think we've just uncovered a much darker side to this rescue." The weight of the truth hits her like a wave, and for the first time, she feels like the rescue mission has shifted. It's no longer about saving a turtle. Now, it's about uncovering the forces at play that have kept this creature captive, and whether they will be able to stop it. The discovery of the turtle's captivity feels like a personal betrayal to Emily. She's dedicated her life to rescuing wildlife, but the thought that some creatures are stolen for profit makes her sick to her stomach. "We need to find out who did this," she says firmly, her voice laced with determination. Tom hesitates, his gaze lingering on the turtle. "And then what? Call the authorities?" His voice is more cynical now, his belief in the system faltering. Emily looks at him sharply. "Yes," she replies. "This turtle deserves justice." Tom doesn't respond immediately, but Emily sees the doubt in his eyes. The reality of confronting illegal wildlife trade is terrifying. It's a much larger battle than anything they've faced before. But she can't back down. "Not now. We need to find out where it came from," she says, her eyes narrowing. "And if we have to, we'll go straight to the source." Tom looks away, conflicted. "And what if the source finds us first?" he asks. Emily meets his gaze, her voice unwavering. "Then we fight back." Emily and Tom spend hours trying to find any trace of the turtle's origin, combing through local networks and reaching out to wildlife sanctuaries. But every lead feels like a dead end. Emily begins to question whether they'll ever uncover the truth. "Maybe we're not looking in the right place," she says, frustrated. Tom offers no comfort. He's been quiet all day, and Emily can see that the weight of the situation is affecting him too. There's something we're missing, Emily says again, pacing back and forth. We need to keep looking. Just as they're about to give up, an unexpected call from a local fisherman gives them the breakthrough they need. The turtle came from a nearby island, one that has been known for illegal wildlife trading. The realization hits them both like a punch to the gut. The operation was far more organized than they could have imagined. They were up against a real threat now, not just the ocean. Emily feels the gravity of their situation, but there's no turning back. We go there tomorrow, she says, her voice now determined, a fire igniting within her. Tom nods, the weight of the journey ahead settling in. The night before their journey to the island, Emily can't sleep. She's sitting on the edge of the bed, her hands resting in her lap, her mind racing. The weight of their mission is settling in. They're not just rescuers anymore. They're investigators, up against an organized, dangerous operation. Her thoughts keep turning to the turtle. Will it survive long enough for them to uncover the truth? She shakes her head, trying to push away the doubt. This is what she's trained for, to fight for what's right, no matter the cost. Tom's voice breaks through the quiet. We'll make it through this, he says, his voice calm yet steady. Emily looks up at him, and for the first time in days, she feels a slight sense of peace. They may be facing an uncertain future, but they're in this together. Tomorrow we fight, Emily replies, her voice firm. A silent promise to herself and the turtle. The island is shrouded in darkness as Emily and Tom approach, the sound of the ocean crashing against the jagged rocks below echoing in the air. The boat is small but sturdy, cutting through the dark water with purpose. Emily grips the edge of the boat, her knuckles white. She feels the weight of what's ahead of them, the culmination of everything they've fought for. Are we ready? She asks, her voice steady, but the tension in her chest betrays her. Tom glances over at her, his face hard and resolute. We don't have a choice. His tone is firm, but Emily knows that he's feeling the pressure too. They've tracked the source of the illegal wildlife trade to this island, and tonight, they're going in to confront it. The risks are high, and there's no telling what they'll face. But the turtle, the creatures they've rescued, and their own moral compass drive them forward. As the boat nears the island, Emily takes a deep breath, preparing herself for what's to come. The battle is about to begin. The boat reaches the shore quietly, and Emily and Tom step onto the wet, rocky beach. The air smells of salt and damp earth, the only sounds being the crash of waves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. They don't speak as they move, each step heavy with the gravity of their mission. Emily's eyes scan the island, the sense of danger palpable. We need to move fast, she whispers to Tom. He nods without a word, his expression dark and focused. The island's dense foliage hides secrets, but Emily is determined. She's come this far, and there's no turning back. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with risks they can't predict. But her mind is made up. The mission, the truth, and the future of the turtle depend on them now. The small island feels like an arena, where the stakes are higher than ever before. They push through the thick undergrowth, the dense jungle wrapping around them like a living thing. Every step feels like a risk. The island is silent except for the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant chirping of birds. But Emily can feel it. They're not alone. The tension between them grows with each passing second. Doll? Tom suddenly stops, his hand on Emily's arm. I hear something, he whispers. Emily listens intently, her breath caught in her throat. For a moment, everything is still. Then she hears it, the unmistakable sound of movement in the brush ahead. Emily signals for Tom to follow, and they move in tandem, slow and calculated. The island's secrets are beginning to reveal themselves, and the closer they get, the more dangerous things become. They've come this far, but they don't know what waits in the shadows. The source of the noise becomes clear as they approach a small clearing. Emily's heart races as she spots the figures ahead, men working quickly and quietly, loading crates into a transport vehicle. The crates are large, and Emily can see the faint outline of what looks like a turtle shell peeking out from one of them. The realization hits her like a wave. This is bigger than just the turtle she saved. This is an entire operation, and it's all coming to a head here, on this island. Tom's voice is a low growl, full of anger. This is what we've been fighting against. Emily steps forward, her mind calculating the risks. The mission is no longer about finding the turtle. It's about shutting down an entire illegal operation. The stakes are higher than ever, and Emily knows they can't back down now. They've come to fight. The confrontation happens quickly. Emily and Tom spring into action, moving with the precision of professionals, but the men aren't surprised. Shots ring out and chaos erupts in the clearing. Emily dives for cover behind a tree, adrenaline surging through her body. Tom takes a shot, his aim steady, but the enemies retreat into the jungle, taking the crates with them. "We can't let them get away," Emily says, her voice full of resolve. Tom nods, pulling a tracker from his bag. "We'll follow them." The next moments are a blur of movement, gunfire, and determination. Emily and Tom know that if they lose the trail now, it's all over. The fight is far from over. The island is alive with danger, but so are they. And they're ready to finish this no matter what. The storm has passed, and the calmness of the morning settles over the beach. Emily sits on the sand, her eyes closed, listening to the gentle lapping of the waves. The turtle, now healed, is being released back into the ocean. Tom stands beside her, watching the creature as it swims into the vast expanse of the sea. "It's over," Emily says softly, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "For now," Tom replies. They both know the fight isn't truly over, but today, they've won. The turtle disappears into the distance, and Emily and Tom stand together in silence. The weight of their journey is finally starting to sink in. "You think it'll be all right?" Emily asks, her voice full of uncertainty. Tom looks at her, his face softening. "You did your part, we did." The words don't erase the fear of what's to come, but Emily feels a flicker of hope. She has made a difference. And for now, that's enough. As they walk back to the boat, the silence between them is comforting. Emily glances over at Tom. "What now?" she asks. Tom chuckles softly. "Now we get some rest. And then we figure out what comes next." The tension from the past few days is still there, but there's a sense of resolution in the air. The island may hold more secrets, but for now, they've done their part. The turtle is free, and that's what matters. Everything else can wait. As they board the boat and begin their journey back, Emily looks at the horizon one last time. "We've made it," she whispers. Tom nods, his face a mixture of exhaustion and pride. The boat moves through the water steadily, cutting through the stillness. The mission is complete, but something within Emily tells her this is only the beginning. "Next time," Tom says, breaking the silence, "we'll be ready." Emily smiles, her resolve strengthening. As the boat fades into the distance, Emily feels a sense of closure. The turtle is free, and the fight they fought is over. For now. But there's still much work to be done. "One step at a time," she whispers to herself. Tom glances at her and gives her a reassuring smile. "We'll get there, together." Emily looks at him and nods. The horizon is vast, but the journey ahead is clear. They've won this battle, but the war to protect the wild is far from over. As the boat moves through the calm waters, Emily can't shake the feeling that something is still waiting for her. She stares at the horizon, her mind replaying the events of the past few days. "It's not over yet, is it?" she murmurs. Tom glances at her, his voice steady. "No, it's not. But that's why we're here." His words sink in, grounding her. Emily knows the path ahead is uncertain, but it's a path she'll walk with purpose. "Then let's get to work," she says, her voice stronger now. The journey continues. The boat docks at the harbor, and Emily steps onto solid ground once more. The air is different here, quieter, more familiar. She takes a deep breath, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "We did it," she says, her voice low but proud. Tom nods beside her. We made a difference. Emily glances over at him, her expression softening. We did it together. The journey has been long, but it's led them here, to a place where they can finally rest, even if just for a moment. As Emily walks away from the harbor, she feels a sense of finality. The weight of the last few days has lifted, and with it comes clarity. She glances at Tom, who's walking beside her. What do you think's next? She asks, a hopeful note in her voice. Tom looks at her, a smirk tugging at his lips. More turtles, he says with a chuckle. Emily smiles, feeling the tension of the journey slip away. The road ahead is still long, but it feels more manageable now, knowing that they've made a difference. Together. The sun sets completely, and the world is bathed in darkness. Emily stops and looks up at the stars, her thoughts drifting to the countless creatures they've saved. She thinks of the turtle, of the sacrifices they've made. We're not done, she whispers to herself. The quiet words hold a weight of promise. As Tom catches up to her, he stands beside her in silence. The future is uncertain, but in this moment, the stars above feel like a reminder that there is always hope, always another fight to be fought. Emily turns to leave, the weight of the moment settling in. She's walked this path before, but now it feels different. The future is still uncertain, but she's not afraid. We'll keep going, she says, her voice steady. For the turtles, for all of them. Tom gives her a silent nod. They walk into the night, side by side, ready for whatever challenges await. Their journey is far from over. But together, they know they can face anything.